right, so the lighting isn't terrible, which is surprising because I don't actually have a lot of natural light in my office. Um, there's I've got a window, but there's a house right next to me, so I don't get a whole lot of light, especially not at 1:02 in the afternoon. So I would say good morning, but it is technically afternoon. However, it is my morning because I've only been up for like an hour, which I need to fix because I need to start getting up at like 8 a.m. for school in the fall. But it's been a long work week. Anyway, hi, my name is Megan. I usually go by M just because, I don't know, I've gotten used to it. There was a time when I was first starting on the internet, and I had this really long username, but there was a ton of M's in it. So rather than typing out my username, a lot of people would just type M, and I knew who they were talking about. So that's kind of how I've gotten used to it, and it's just, I like it. Plus, it makes me sound kind of like bad, because of M from James Bond. So I like that too. But anyway, welcome to my channel. The main purpose of it is something that I've struggled with a lot because I couldn't really figure out what my niche was or whatever it is. But last night I was watching a YouTube video and I saw a few comments in it talking about how people were in their later years going back to college or just in their later years and stuck and didn't know what to do. And while I was journaling last night, I thought, well, I might have I might have something to offer. And I am by no means an expert in anything I'm doing. I have always just lived my life by wing it, quite frankly. Like having kids, bringing them home, it was crazy. But I did not go to college until I was 30. And I am almost 40, and I am still trying to finish my undergraduate. And that's because I had to take a several year break. Personal reasons, my husband lost his job, I had to quit, all that stuff. And it took me a while to get back. So I am, in the fall, I will be finishing my junior year of my undergraduate degree. I am majoring in English with a minor in medieval studies, and I really enjoy medieval studies, honestly, but I am definitely a big literature person. So my plan is to continue on to a master's in literature and probably take that to a PhD so I can teach a specialized literature course to undergraduates. But I mean, the PhD is way out there. We'll see if I even get through the master's first. But anyway, back to my point. I am one of the few teenagers who, well, probably not one of the few, but I was a teenager who decided I really didn't want to go to college. I didn't want to spend the money on something I didn't know that I wanted to do. My dream growing up was, to sing and be on the stage and whatnot, but I have terrible stage fright. Like, I had one line in the musical Guys and Dolls in high school, and I totally froze and said it really fast and like rushed off the stage. It was terrible. So I definitely wasn't meant for the stage, but I had a backup plan of being a veterinarian. However, I kind of don't like science and I loathe math. So rather than go to Iowa State University to study something I really didn't want to do, I decided not to spend the money and just work. And eventually that led me from Iowa down here to New Mexico, where I worked two jobs. I worked at a hotel and I worked at a restaurant/bar. And I met my husband at the restaurant. And by 22, almost 23, because my kid was born before I turned 23, I had a kid and I was married. And 2 years later, we had our second child, second boy. And so by 25, I had been married for 3 years and had two kids. And at that point, my job was just to take care of them, to raise them. I did that for a few years and then I had to go back to work because we really just couldn't survive on one income. So I went back to work and I worked graveyard. And it worked great for our schedule because we were sharing one car. However, it did not make me the greatest parent in the world. And that is something I will always regret. But when my eldest was, I gotta do math, hang on, 7, and my youngest was 5, I went to college. I decided to go to college. And I majored in English with a minor in medieval studies, and I did a semester. And it was hard because the kids were still young. They still needed me. They still needed help with their homework. I still had to pick them up from school every day and all of that. And I was also working. So it was very hard. And in the spring semester, when my husband lost his job and I had to quit, it honestly was a blessing to me because I hated all the classes I was taking. I just, like I said, it was very hard. And that kind of scarred me a little. Having to quit it made me feel shame. It made me feel guilty and I felt ashamed. And it was just, I never wanted to go back to the UNM campus, University of New Mexico, which is where I go to school. I never wanted to go back to UNM campus. And it took me a while to get back. And part of that was part of the reason I got back actually is because my husband works for UNM. And so I'd visit him at work and I'd get back on that campus. And it was a little bit of exposure therapy. I was getting myself more used to it and I was not as scarred. And I eventually figured out that I really do want to go back. And especially because I still work at a hotel. It is a different hotel than when I started when I came down here, but I have been at this hotel for 10 years. And within the last few years, I've really begun not to enjoy my job. And part of that is drama at work. I'm not going to bring it up because I do work for a major hotel brand, and I'm not going to even try to bring that into the internet. But I wasn't happy. And so I decided to go back to college and try to do something that would make me happy. And that is its own little rant because I've spent the last several months trying to figure out what that would be, quite frankly. Like ever since the spring semester ended, I have been freaking out a little, but I think I'll do that in another video just because I don't want this one to be too long. Anyway, so I think it's important for all teenagers to know, for all 18-year-olds, high schoolers, whatever, to know that they don't have to go to college right away. If they feel like it's not the right decision, it is okay to wait. College will always be there. You can always get back in. It's a little harder when you're an adult. Like I going back this time, I felt a little stupid, honestly, because everything felt so much harder, like brain-wise, but I think it was just some of the topics and just getting back into it. But I mean, I have 2 teenage boys. They are 13 and 15, and I work a relatively full-time job, meaning 1 week I will work full-time, the other week I only work part-time, so it balances sort of. And I have been married 15 years. I have a house, I have 2 dogs and a cat, and so, I've got bills, I've got a mortgage, I've got kids to feed and a husband to take care of and a household to run, and I'm also working and I also go to school. So it can be a lot if you wait, but I honestly think it's the best decision I've ever made. I don't think I would have been happy in anything I've done if I went to Iowa State at 18, because I would have been pursuing a career I didn't actually want. Now, little caveat, I still root for Iowa State and everything. I am definitely an Iowa State fan. I know we're not great at football, but I hope we'll get there. But we are good at basketball, and I'm okay with that. And I recently heard we're good at wrestling too. So I am still an Iowa State girly. I just never actually went there. But back to the main point. I think waiting for college was the best decision I ever made. I am now at a point where I can take my time. I can try to figure out what the heck I want to do with my life. It is not dependent on how much money I make, because by the time I actually get a career, it is not going to matter, because it'll just be me and my husband. I can finally find something that'll make me happy rather than just making money, which is what society tells us we need. We need to find something that'll just make us money. That's why whenever we have dreams, we're always told to have a backup plan, because we have to make money and, whatnot. And I mean, I'm in a job I don't love. I've like it every once in a while. Like I said, some drama, and once that gets fixed, it'll be better. But I am not great at customer service, so I definitely need to get out of that. But I want to get in a job I love, and it's taken me a while to figure that out. And like I said, that'll be in its own little video, because again, I had a month-long freak out about it. But if you're in high school and you have a bunch of teachers and your parents and society telling you you have to go to college, you have to be successful, you've got to know what you want to do at 18, they're lying. You absolutely do not have to go to college right away. If you know what you want, absolutely go for it. It's a great experience. You get to learn about other things that you wouldn't normally expose yourself to. And I mean, I am actually a big supporter of college. But if you are about to graduate, or if you're in high school and you're like, man, I just don't know what I want to do, that's okay. You can take time. You can graduate high school and get some sort of dead end job or whatnot, work at, I don't know, food service or Target, or start, whatever. You can work wherever and just work to pay bills and survive until you know what you want. And who knows what will happen to you in the meantime. I mean, that was basically my plan for 3 years, was just to work, was just to exist and make money, pay bills, eat, just live my life however I wanted. And wonderful things happened to me while I was doing it. Like I said, I met my husband, and he is an amazing man. I had 2 kids, and they're fantastic. I love them, and they're amazing. But actually, there's no but. It was the best decision I ever made, was to wait and move out of my hometown and go somewhere new. Now, it wasn't like I was doing it all on my own. I have 2 sisters who lived down here at the time, and they helped me transition from Iowa to New Mexico, and that helped a lot. But still, it was the best decision I ever made. And going back to college, once I figured out, okay, I really don't like how I'm living, I don't like the job I'm in, I want to do something better. And deciding to go later, even though I was, twice the age of most of the kids there, not really twice, but you know what I mean. Like, I'm around all these 18-year-olds and I'm 30. Um, that was still one of the best decisions I've ever made. That was waiting and going back is a great decision. So if you're my age, if you're 30, if you're 40, if you're 50 and you're thinking, okay, I don't know that I like what I'm doing. I want to study something else. I want to do something else. And you need to study for that. You need a degree for that. Absolutely go and get it. It is never too late. You are never too old. You are not. I lost my train of thought. I'm still waking up. I'm sorry. But go and do it when you feel like it's right for you. Don't let society tell you you have to do it right away, or no, you're too old. You've got to just, you've already peaked, you're in your whatever age. You just got to get ready for retirement. No, if you want to improve your life, improve your life. Do what will make you happy, so long as it's not hurting like everyone else. Like, I obviously can't quit my job and just do college full time because my family would starve. 2 teenage boys are not easy to feed, let me tell you. But I mean, it's not like I'm studying something. I'm not studying to be a dictator or something. Now granted, I probably could be studying something that would actually help a lot of people, but personally, I think trying to share my love of literature, especially British literature. I love British classic literature. It's just got a little special place in my heart, you know? But I think sharing that with undergraduates and even graduates, if needed, is the right thing for me, because I love books. I love books. I love fantasy. I love fiction. So sharing that with people and exposing them to the worlds that one book is just, it's what I want to do in life. And I think I can do it. I definitely need to take some public speaking classes though, because I am terrified to speak in front of people. Oh my gosh, there is such anxiety with it. But yeah, so that's kind of what my aim for this channel is. It's to inspire people, if that can be done, if you feel like you need it, you know, you're out there struggling with a decision on what to do with your life. I think I can offer some insight and maybe help a little. Yeah, so that's my goal. um I hope it helps. I'll see you guys in the next video.